All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our virtual town hall. As you can see, my battle buddy Colonel Malore is not here with us today as he is taking care of some personal business. So I'm going to do my best to help facilitate, but I also got a Department of Operations Director. I got Mr. Ron Thomas here to help me facilitate our virtual town hall. And again, I want to say good morning to everybody and thank you for participating in this virtual town hall as we bring you the latest information and try to answer all questions that you may bring to the table. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and kick it off, and I'll kick it off with a COVID update here. Uh, Again, there are no changes to our HP Con level. We're still standing at HP Con Charlie, still able to facilitate up to 50% of our workforce. We're only seeing about 20 to 30% of our workforce coming in at this time. Again, a mixture of on site workers along with teleworkers. We are constantly working with the Fox Army Health Center to ensure that we have the right information out at the right time for our eligible groups according to the schema for vaccinations. If Fox Army Health Center is not your primary care manager, or if you have not been informed by your eligible or that you are eligible to receive the vaccination at Fox, please contact your PCM physician to find out how and where you can get administered the vaccine. So it's a tie-in with some of the COVID stuff that we got going on with how we're working with our workforce today. Please learn about the vaccine. Again, it is a volunteer basis, but the more you get educated on the vaccine and how it can help us out, the better decision or informed decision you can make on taking the vaccine. Again, we are here to bring you the latest information to help you understand where we stand as far as Redstone Arsenal is concerned. What I'm going to do is pass it over to Mr. Ron Thomas so he can talk a little bit more in depth on it. Mr. Ron?
Thanks, Sergeant Major. I appreciate it. Board notes are coming in already. We'll take a look at those here in just a second. So we're going to start out with the schema. Some of you may have heard this term about the schema, and what we've done is we've provided here. It should pop up here in just a second. A quick slide that we'll talk about a little bit about phasing and category, and it's very, very important that we understand and identify individually or as your leadership is assisting in the process, identifying what phase of the vaccination program that you're in. So our partners at Fox are currently working through phase one alpha, phase one Bravo, and hopefully this will help you understand a little bit about what groups and categories those would be in. I can kind of sum up the one alpha, one Bravo in as much as this is very similar to what's going on in our communities around us. This is getting after our primary healthcare folks, our physicians, our first responders, those folks that are out there taking care of you and I and our families, and protecting not only themselves but protecting the community. The safer we are as first responders, and we go out and engage with our local community and folks here on the Arsenal, we want to make sure that we're thinking about your health and well-being as well. So that kind of takes up the one alpha, one Bravo group. There have been a few folks identified in some other categories. Some that are in the national defense, some that are in some other organizations in one alpha and one Bravo. As the schema has modified a little bit since its original print, we're still in the preparations of going to one Charlie. So let me be clear. We're still in phase one alpha and one Bravo. But as we prepare for the one Charlie, I think we'll find that that particular category will start to grow very large. And then there's a second phase or phase two of that. Generally speaking, I would like to believe that most of us will fall into the phase two category. We look at that as our generally healthy population. And I know for me individually, I know that's where I belong in the phase two. So I've managed my expectations, and in time, I know that vaccine will be made available to others like me that may feel that they're in that phase two category. Phase one Charlie, as we prep for phase one Charlie, we start talking about some of those folks perhaps with the comorbidities or folks that have identified themselves as being in that higher risk category. So I think it's real important that we as individuals as well as our leadership really take a good look at our workforce and make sure we can keep within the bounds of the schema with the intent that the Department of the Army or the DoD has published, as well as the CDC and what's coming out of the White House. It's real important that we just kind of manage our expectations, put ourselves where we need to be. For many of us, we've been through this almost a year now, coming up very close on a year, and as much as we all want to participate in this vaccination program, we just need to make sure we're doing it in concert with the directives, at least from the DoD and the Department of the Army on our side. So I encourage you to be familiar with this. This data is available in multiple resources, CDC. I think our Redstone Facebook page has put this out. And I would tell you, folks, if you're kind of curious and wondering where we are in time and space, I would highly recommend that you go to the Fox webpage for their Facebook page. Additionally, our PAO and the other PAOs within the organizations will mirror everything that Fox puts out. That staff down there, Sergeant Major, is working very, very hard. And I know there's a lot of questions. Sergeant Major alluded to it earlier. Folks, go out and do your research, learn about the vaccine. There's a lot of resources out there. I understand you may have questions. If you can reach out and talk to your primary care physicians or managers, do so. Fox is doing a tremendous job down there, but they don't have 20 people sitting at a phone bank ready to answer every question that there is. So certainly encourage you. If you do have a question, you just can't find the answer out there, contact your primary care folks. And if it is Fox, you may have to leave a message, and I'm sure they'll do their very best to get back to you. But there's a lot to be learned out there. We acknowledge that this is a volunteer type basis right now, so nobody's going to mandate that you do this. I know there was some apprehension early on, but I'll tell you what we're seeing is as more people are getting the vaccine, more people are becoming accustomed to it, Sergeant Major, and they're not as hesitant about going out and getting the vaccine. I think the Colonel spoke to you in the last town hall and stood up and said quickly, absolutely, when it's his time to do that, he has no hesitation in recommending that to him or his family. And I think you even echoed that. I'm not sure, Sergeant Major. Don't want to put you on the spot, but it is our job to get out and learn about the vaccine. And if you are particular to a particular brand or type, whether it be the Pfizer or the Moderna, go out and seek that out. And you may find that just based on sheer numbers, it might be available to you just as easily in our local community as it would be here at Fox. So next thing we'll cover up real quick is the PCRS website. This patient care registration site is the tool that Fox is using to help get you scheduled for the vaccine. Now, I would caution you there again. There's really two steps to this, and I'll try to make them as clear as I can. If you're not already part of the PCRS family or website, I would tell you most people who are taken care of by Fox on a regular basis are probably already registered in PCRS, meaning you might be scheduling your existing appointments through there, just normal medical appointments. You might be doing your refills through the pharmacy through there. But for those of us that are not, that large DA, DOD workforce ID card carrying group that's eligible by the DOD order, you may not have ever been to the website. So we recommend that you go to the website and register. And I'm going to say stop right there. Go in and register. Get that out of the way. And then as Fox releases the additional phases, they will open up the ability to schedule your appointment. So as an example, again, I believe I'm in the phase 2 category. I've gone in, I've registered. I've used the tools and looked around in it to make sure that I can be educated and help my workforce understand it. But I know I'm in phase 2. And while I go into that area that says you're generally the healthy population, I can select it and I get a little bulletin or a note that says, hey, thank you very much, but it's not your time to schedule yet. And I understand that. But if you are in one of the existing categories that they're currently servicing in that 1 Alpha and 1 Bravo category, you should be able to go in now to the PCRS website, log in, and start setting up your appointment. It's really fairly simple. It's got a drop-down calendar, and if the calendar says there's spaces available here, you click on the date, you'll get a confirmation back saying you've been scheduled for that date. I will tell you that there's some paperwork that goes along with that. Embedded in that PCRS website, there's a link that takes you to the form DHA 207, and that's an additional piece of paperwork that you need to fill out and print and bring with you to Fox. So collectively, between the PCRS registration and when you actually become eligible and you can schedule your appointment and that DHA 207 form, when it's time for you to show up and get your shot in the arm, as Colonel Cardenas refers to it, when it's time for you to go in and get that shot, you've got everything in order, and it should be fairly smooth and simple operation. After you get that shot, you should be looking for setting your second appointment at the 28-day mark, or just slightly beyond that. So go ahead and be prepared to follow up with your scheduling of your second appointment. So Sergeant Major, that's kind of what I know and what our partners at Fox have been sharing with us. And I think it's some good information for them. I've probably generated more questions than I've answered, and I'm probably ready to take the backlash when it comes through here. But hopefully I've been clear enough for them. We'll stand by for that.
Okay, Ron, thank you again for that great information that we brought. We do have some questions coming in, but by all means, talking through the schema a little bit and kind of letting people know where they fall in. Again, like you explained, I am on the list to take it for when my time comes, my family as well. We're all on board to go ahead and take this vaccine, and great information to get on the PCR website and to get registered in. What I like to do is we'll answer the questions at the end, but what we'll do is I'll switch gears just a little bit, and we'll move into talking a little bit about the next generation retiree badges. I know those have been kind of a question of when they're coming on. Again, the Garrison Directorate of Human Resources, Military Personnel and Division wanted us to inform our community a little bit of the next generation service ID cards, and what you'll see is a graphic coming up of what those ID cards look like. These will be replacing the current ID cards issued to retired and eligible individuals in accordance with the Department of Defense policy to facilitate access to benefits, privileges, and DoD bases. Again, patrons will receive the next generation ID card when the ID card expires, when their current ID card expires. Current issued US ID cards remain valid through their expiration date. In an effort to limit the impact on the ID card assurance facilities, cards will not be reissued solely for the purpose of obtaining the next generation US ID card. So if your current ID card is still good, by all means, hold on to that and wait for that expiration date to come on so that we don't have a mass rush to our facility to get the new ID card. You will eventually get it. Once your retired ID card is expired, then you can go ahead and set up the appointment to come in. Obviously, it is by appointment, so let's make sure that you are making those appointments online or call in to find out information on it. The individuals with an indefinite expired date on the current US ID card should wait until summer of 2021 to have the next generation US ID card issued, as we are still waiting for continuous ID cards of the new ones to come in. Due to the COVID-19 restrictions, the DoD extended the majority of expired ID cards, as some of y'all may know, allowing them to remain valid, and it was through March 2020 all the way up to June 30th, 2021. So if you do have an expired ID card during that time frame, they are still valid and they are still able to be used at this time until your appointment is validated to go ahead and get that new ID card. But we do encourage our patrons with questions to contact us directly regarding specific questions. And you can call the One Stop, who will help facilitate those. The number to that is 842-2413. Again, 842-2413, and they will be able to answer any questions in regards to the new or the next generation US ID card. You can also visit our home.army.mil Redstone to get an ID card set up and appointment made. With that being said, I'd like to go ahead and again transition to Mr. Ron Thomas so he can talk to us a little bit about facial recognition.
All right, folks, a lot of new stuff going on here in the arsenal, and I'll tell you, on behalf of the senior commander, the garrison commander, all the way up to General Daly, Redstone has always been on the leading edge of providing new services, new technologies, and You've witnessed some of that over this last year. You've witnessed the update of the AIE system, which is up and running, installed, and then on top of that, we've been piloting RFID. That's something that many of you are familiar with, and we're also just about ready to proceed with the facial recognition. So if you've come into Gate 1 or Gate 9 in the last day or so, you may have identified or seen some folks out there working in the area. We are refining right now a little bit of our RFID operations and doing some adjustments so that we can continue to support that operation and that pilot, as well as facial recognitions. Now, this has been something we've been working on for quite some time now. And what we're doing out there at the gate, so I ask you to just be cautious. If you see vehicles parked in lanes out there, stopping by and folks moving through the area, please be careful. They're out there trying to make our system better and make access to the arsenal safer, more streamlined, more efficient. But ultimately, it's about access control and safety of our folks out there. So if you, I got some comments yesterday, Sergeant Major, about this light that they saw at Gate 1.
Right.
So associated with the facial recognition, there are red IR lights that need to flash to be able to project through our windshields or in hours of darkness to be able to get a smiling photo of each of us as we come through there. Now, photo is probably not the best term to use, but it's something we would all understand. As you can see on the screen, we have an idea of what you're seeing. So if you're at Gate 9, you'll see this at Lane 3 and Lane 4. For infrastructure reasons, this is the best place for us to test the system at Gate 9. So it wasn't, we weren't going after anybody that's a big fan of Lane 1 or Lane 2 or anything like that. It's just infrastructure-wise, this was the best place to put that for our Gate 9 users. As you can see by the overhead shot, that you're gonna find that Lane 3 and Lane 4 are going to be our dedicated lanes to test facial recognition for the purpose of the pilot. In addition to just being familiar and aware that that's coming in the future, we're going to be putting in some traffic control devices. It's a fancy term for road cones or safety cones. We're going to put those out there and kind of singling out lanes 3 and 4 so that folks understand that you're getting into a lane to do something unique. We're also going to be putting some markings on the ground as you approach the lane. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the SOV design. Many of us are familiar with high occupancy vehicles, right? On the big highways and the big towns, they got a big diamond, and that's intended for multiple folks to be in the vehicle. The constraints that we have right now for the sake of the test and the pilot in the particular phase we're in is we are going to be utilizing lanes 3 and 4 in a single occupancy vehicle configuration, right? So real important. As we get ready to get a little bit further along, we've got a comm plan that's going to come out. Our senior commander will brief it to the senior leaders. Our PAOs will post it everywhere they can possibly post it. For those of you that experience the transition to AIE and RFID, our physical security team, along with our DA security guards out there, will be handing out trifold flyers, giving you a little bit of background and information as to how that works. And we hope to educate you at the level you need to be. But as we start painting these in our lanes, you may see some periodic closures, probably in the afternoon. We're not going to interfere with your peak time transition into the office. But if you happen to sneak out at lunch and you're coming back through Gate 9, we may have some folks out there assisting us with getting the appropriate markings out there. And then as we transition to the phase of testing where we'll encourage you to come through those lanes, we'll make sure that everybody's educated. At best right now, I can tell you this is going to be conditions based, right? So that's a comfortable way for me to say I don't have a dedicated date yet. We've got to wait on signage to come in. We've got to wait till the temperatures are compatible to get the paint on the ground so that it stays and we're not having to go back and redo that work and not causing any additional inconvenience to you as you're transitioning in and out of the arsenal. I'm kind of thinking ballpark mid-March. But again, my get out of jail free card on that would be it's conditions based. We think we're headed in the right direction. Senior Commander has looked at our concept, likes what he's seeing. But remember, folks, again, it's a pilot. I do expect things to go a little bit better with the facial recognition than it did with the RFID. And more importantly, what you'll find is a greater portion of the population will be able to use facial recognition. So for the contractors that were kind of left out in the wind saying, well, I can't get an RFID card because I'm not a trusted traveler. I'll tell you what, when we transition to facial recognition, if you're in our database already and you have access to the arsenal, you'll be able to use that facial recognition lane. So we're going to be able to increase our usage from RFID at about 60% of an eligible population to facial recognition up to mid-90s schedule. Now, it doesn't mean everybody needs to line up and use those lanes. There'll be a lot of empty lanes left and right of you that you might be able to get in through just as easily. But it is getting after taking care of the larger population and should do some great streamlining for us. Probably going to have some more questions. And again, as we get ready, we'll start pushing information probably out as early as about 2 weeks from now. You should start seeing it, start coming out through our operation centers, through our PAOs, and getting that messaging out there. And there will probably be some restrictions with facial recognition. If you're a sunglass wearer and a mask wearer and your Kenny Chesney cowboy hat down over and we can't see your eyes, we'll probably ask you to either adjust what lane you're going to operate in, or just make sure that that's off of your head as you come through facial recognition. So we're going to go out, we're going to test it. We're going to find out what works and what doesn't. I'm pretty sure at this point, Sergeant Major, you won't be able to ride your motorcycle with your helmet on it through the facial recognition. You got that?
I got it.
Okay. So
I'll just make some adjustments.
So as we get smarter on the system and understand what works and what doesn't, we'll try to get that information out to you so that we can be successful in that transition, and we don't have to learn lessons the hard way. So if you see folks out working at the gates, that's what they're doing. They're improving the security of the arsenal. We ask that you be careful operating around them, and we'll get out there and get that taken care of. And we'll move on to the next subject. So what do you got, Sergeant Major?
All right. Again, Ron, thanks for that information. Being on Redstone, we are always bringing latest and greatest technology and hoping it's helping us out in our future operations. Again, we've never shut down the arsenal, and that's really a testament to our community, our workforce, and setting precautions in place to be successful in what we're doing. As we bring things on, again, it's testing, it's piloting. We're making sure these things are going to work for us. So, we ask that you be patient, and as you see things, we'll bring that information to you via our virtual town hall or other social media networks to ensure that you guys are well informed of things that are coming out. But they are test pilots to ensure that we can operate in a good capacity to facilitate our continued operations here on Redstone Arsenal. One of the questions that came in, I'll go ahead and address it before we move on, was will Fox be hiring additional RNs to assist with administering the vaccines? I know they have a team already, and they're doing a pretty good job. I think it's a question I can ask Fox, but I think if they need to bring on a bigger force to help facilitate more vaccines, they're looking at it, or we'll look at that. Again, we are adjusting or building this plane in flight like we do, or we say. If we need to adjust on certain things, then we'll adjust. But I think for right now, we're getting through the phases, and we are doing vaccine. They're doing an outstanding job out there. Kudos to that staff out there in Fox, doing a great job. Another question that came in, will the next generation ID card include retirees and dependents? I can tell you that this will replace the current ID cards issued to retired and reserve members, family members of uniformed service members, and other eligible individuals in accordance with the Department of Defense policy. Okay, so yes, they will. And again, if you have some direct questions, 842-2413, and they'll be able to facilitate any specific questions that you might have. What I'd like to do is go ahead and jump into some observances of February so everybody has an understanding of what's coming out for us out there. Again, there is an African American Black History Month observance will be held virtually on the 22nd of February. Dr. Carlton P. Bird from Oakwood University will be our keynote speaker, and we will also see performances by the Oakwood University Choir and the Morehouse College Glee Club. So stay tuned for that so that you can watch that observance. Another thing that is in the month of February is the Army is also celebrating the 30th anniversary of Desert Storm campaign, which will be pushing out things on that as well. We'll be highlighting both on our Redstone team, so be on the lookout for that on our Facebook so that you can see those observances as well. Uh, don't forget that Friday, February 12th, is our military training holiday, and on Monday is President's Day, which most federal workers will be taking that day off. So from the 12th to the 15th for our green suiters, we should have a 4-day weekend, and obviously that 15th is federal holiday observance for President's Day. Moving on to our tax center, we did have a question that came in regards to the tax center. I do have a little bit about it. Again, we are excited to bring back the tax center. It will be officially open. All active duty retirement and dependents are being accepted for appointments. So please call for your appointment. The number is 256-842-1040. Clients can drop off their package from 8:30 to 12, and it will be kind of like a curbside service. You drop off your paperwork, they will conduct it. If they have any questions, they will call you, prepare those taxes for you, and get those submitted. The tax center is at 3439 Honest John Road, where you can pick up more information on that. And again, the number is 842-1040 on information in regards to the tax center. Moving on to some MWR updates. Again, our MWR director gave me some information, and they are happy to see the Redstone MWR library opening up again for full service. February 9th, it'll be opening up. Curbside service will be ending February 6th, and we will be opening it up February 9th. Again, to celebrate the love of reading books, checking out books, DVD rentals, you name it, they're going to go back into facility, of course, with precautions in place. You will be asked to wear your face covering as you go into the library and be wearing it at all times. Limited seating will be available in the allowing distancing in the library. The play area that was in there will be closed at this time, and then checkouts and returns will be disinfected and then put back on the shelf for checking out again. But we are excited to bring back the MWR library again February 9th. It'll be opening up. Moving on to a subject that we've been kind of talking about over and over, and it's our digital Garrison app. What you'll see is a graphic come up on the digital Garrison app. And again, we just encourage everybody to download that digital Garrison app to get the latest information as we continue to refine it. We want to make sure that it is at your fingertips where you can get on there and get some updates for the Garrison, and also get some AFES information out there too as well. It's a tool that's coming up and it's getting good. Again, there's the icon where if you hover your phone over that icon, you could probably go ahead and download it now if you haven't. But by all means, it's going to be a more refined and helpful tool for us around the Garrison. And what's unique to it, you can use it here at Redstone, and if you find yourself traveling and you're coming up on a different installation, you can go in there and click that specific installation so it can give you information about that post or that Garrison installation as well. So a neat tool. By all means, get out there and download it if you want. I'd like to give a little shout out to the podcast that I've kicked off. Again, is to bring information to our Redstone community, and also anybody that chimes in. It's a podcast that we put out information on. We interview different people. We answer questions that might come in. If you'd like some questions answered, by all means, email me or give me a call. And the bluff, which obviously is the bottom line up front, we get out some information. And if there's anybody you'd like to hear on our bluff line, by all means, give me a shout out so we can get them online, give them a little interview, and push on from there. What I'd like to talk about is some upcoming events. Some upcoming events that we have. Our next Facebook Live Town Hall will be 18th of February, where we will bring our next information to you on the latest and greatest. By all means, send in your questions. If we don't capture them today, we'll capture them for the next one. I'd like to put out a 4th of March Facebook Live Town Hall that will be conducted by our Housing RCA Hunt partners. Mr. Ray Zapata and Miss Brittany Morris will be hosting that town hall. And again, they will be pushing out information to all our Hunt residents to ensure that they can get on there for our Facebook on 4th of March to answer any questions or ask any questions of our Hunt RCI facility and help clarify some information that you might want to ask. Other than that, I'd like to transition to some questions. Unless you got some, I'll pass it back over to you, Ron.
Well, a couple of things.
Okay.
We're under the gun. Colonel Miller's out there watching us. He's commenting.
Oh, is
So
he?
he's out there, so no pressure.
All
But
right.
I've noticed my pink slips are growing faster than yours. First question came up, and it's a great question. I worked for a particular organization on here, and it says, am I eligible for a COVID-19 vaccine? So if you are a DOD civilian, currently in operations, whether it be the arsenal or somewhere else, by right, you are either aligned, assigned to an installation, or you are eligible for a vaccine. We have a lot of discussion about our contracting community out there, and I tell you, I don't know what we would do without most of our contractors that are out there. But as it stands right now, there's a little discussion about contractors, but we do believe this at this point in time, that if within your statement of work, within your contract, you're authorized a flu vaccine through one of our medical treatment facilities on an Army installation, no matter where you're hearing this from, then you are likely to be eligible for that vaccine. So I would encourage you, if you are a contractor, please speak to your CORs and ask those questions. In the event that you are not eligible under the current program as it's written today, I absolutely encourage you to go out to your local communities, your other primary care health folks, and look to them for additional information. I know we publish out several different locations around the community where you can pursue those vaccines, but it really kind of depends on the status that you're in, and not knowing exactly the status that the individual is asking the question. Hopefully I've kind of given you a little bit of guidance. Please use that slide that we brought up. Should be available on the Fox website and should also be available on our Redstone Facebook page. Question came up, will Fox start registration and appointments for 65 years and over on 8 February? I don't know that I can answer the 8 February question. What I can answer is, if you look at the schema as provided, that goes into phase 1 Charlie. We are currently up to phase 1 Bravo. So as long as we're continuing through the vaccination process through Bravo, the answer would be no. If that's the qualifying factor for you is age 65 and over, then that will be in 1 Charlie. And when Fox is ready to transition from the previous phases and begin opening 1 Charlie, then you'll be able to schedule your vaccine. Now, if you go to the site today, and you can probably answer your own question, but if you go to the site today, register on the PCRS website, there's be a drop-down menu once you get fully signed in that will give you a category that you fall in, and you'll see a category that reads 65 and older. If you go to that category, you select that 65 and older, you go down to your schedule. As soon as you click that category, if they're not ready to receive the 1 Charlie group, then you'll probably get a little message like I mentioned earlier. Sorry, we're not taking appointments yet for this particular category. So I know Fox is doing a great job. They're working very hard to get after the mission. We do have limited resources right now, but as soon as they open up those eligibles, get in there and get your registration in early. Feel free to try it today. If you get the message that says we're not open for that category, you can certainly come in and try every day, or you can stay tuned to our Facebook page, the Fox Facebook page. Check it more periodically. Much easier to get to, much less heartache trying to sign in every day and wondering when that thing's going to open up for me. I would take your cues off of those, and the minute we get that across the Garrison and across the Arsenal, we are going to push that out to all your senior leaders. So it should be fairly timely to get that through. I hope that kind of gets you a direction you can head into and not have to worry every day when that's going to open up. Boy, this is one of the Colonel's greatest questions, is Gate 3 opening up anytime soon? We believe it will open one of these days, but in the current configuration right now, still with the managing the workforce numbers that we are. We're going to continue to maintain Gate 3 and Gate 10 in a closed status. And we understand the inconvenience that it may be causing for some folks. But as we look at it from a holistic perspective, manpower, not only for convenience for you, but manpower for our DH security guards and making sure that we're protecting them should we have something go on in that area. We understand, and we promise you the minute that we think the timing is right and the numbers reflect that the times are right, then we'll get that back open. And then finally, are you aware of any current problems with the PCRS website? So I wasn't ignoring the Sergeant Major. I was working diligently over here. I will tell you, I just logged into the PCRS website, and it is up and operational. So I don't know when you checked it last, but if you need to get into the PCRS website, please do so. I have a tendency to forget my passwords. We have so many passwords in our lives to remember these days. There's even a feature on that site that if you forget your password, and I've logged in twice now with 2 new passwords, but it's very, very simple, very functional. I took a call on the same matter yesterday. So no issues for me to log in, and I recommend you give it another shot. Fox is doing a great job now that it's up and operational, trying to sustain that. I don't have a trouble hotline. Sometimes it's just our own due diligence to keep at it and make sure we're using the right things. I'll tell you that they've added a CAPTCHA, one of those. I'm glad they're not asking me to identify every bicycle in the picture and every bus in the picture. But there is some words underneath there that you'll need to log in. So maybe if you're doing it from a cell phone, you're not seeing the CAPTCHA option to help maintain the security on the system. I can't confirm it. The first time I tried to log in here just a minute ago, I did not do it as it was written. I did not capitalize the letters as written. The second time I went in, I wrote it exactly like it appears in the CAPTCHA, and it went straight to it, and I got in and logged in. So please be patient with that, but continue to make the effort, get your registration in, and then once you open up in category, you'll be able to get that date and scheduled for your appointment. So Colonel Miller says smile. I'm sure he's talking to me, not you, Sergeant Major.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
both of us.
I got it. So we are having fun.
Right.
All right, sir. What else you got, Sergeant Major?
Well, I mean, I got a couple of questions coming in, and I want to say thank you to all the questions that are being sent in so we can answer them, or if not, we will make sure we get the answer so that way we can bring it on our next virtual town hall. But so that I know that everybody's out there, it's about my halfway point where I like to say, give me a thumbs up to everybody so I know you're alive and well out there. So by all means, shoot me a thumbs up, and we'll continue going forward with our town hall. Some of the questions that I received, and I think Colonel Malore might have answered this one, but there was a question about the thrift shop, and right now there is no date of it opening up. Again, it's something that was put out for precautionary measures, so we'll take a look and see if indeed the thrift shop will come back to Redstone. Again, it is a private entity, so we have to get with those patrons to see, or those owners to see if they indeed are bringing that back. Next question that I got was, should the blue ID card retirement card holders wait until their expiration date on the back of their card, which this individual says it's 2035. So I would tell you that ID card is going to be honored, right? One of the bullets I had here talking about the next generation retired ID card is patron will receive the next generation ID card when the ID card expires. So you are good to go. Current issued U.S. ID cards remain valid through the expiration date. Another bullet in here talks about individuals with an indefinite expiration date on their current U.S. ID card should wait until summer of 2021 to have their next generation U.S. ID card issued. So again, we are taking care of all the ones that are currently expired. We're setting appointments for those. We don't need everybody rushing to the one stop to get the next generation ID card, because yours will still be valid. Now in the summer of 2021, by all means, give them a call, and again, 842-2413 to get information on if you still have a valid ID card, and it's the summer of 2021. Can I come in and get my next generation retirement ID card? But again, it is valid and it will remain valid. So thank you for that question. I don't know if you have another question.
We do. I think I'm going to take the easy one. I might throw the other one over to you, and right. We'll just shake our head and figure out who's going to do it.
All right.
It says, where can I find a map for all the MWR trails and trailheads on the arsenal? Not sure if we're talking about a bicycling trail map or a hiking trail map. I would tell you if you're hiking on a bicycle trail, be careful. We got some pretty radical bicyclists out there. Our MWR does a great job and has that information. So feel free to call our MWR Outdoor Rec, and they'll point you in the right direction, or they might have something that's already posted on their Facebook page or available to you in their files. So I'll go ahead and put our MWR on the spot for that one. And I know how I would answer this question, Sergeant Major, but I'm going to let you take a look and see if you want to risk me answering it.
Okay. Before I jump into it, I'd like to, since we're talking MWR again, they got the Facebook page as well where you can visit them and get some MWR information. I did want to put out a little bit about the MWR. Caveat was about the cottages out there. If you don't know, or if you do know, we do have cottages that are up for rental. And again, for more information, please call our outdoor rec so you can get information on our cottages. They are 3-bedroom homes. They're a great getaway if you're coming through Redstone and you want to rent one of these cottages. By all means, contact our outdoor rec and you can get information on renting those. Also, our frame shop. Our frame shop has been doing an outstanding job. As you know, they have moved to outdoor rec, so they're up and operational out there. They're Monday through Thursday, 9:30 to 16:30 or 4:30. Be aware that they will have a closure here, and I want to make sure everybody is tracking from the 15th through the 19th of February. The frame shop will be closed. Here is a number that you can contact them, so that if you do want to come in and utilize the frame shop, you can call and contact and make sure that they're open for business. The number for that is 876-7951. So that information on the frame shop, that information on our cottages. For hunters out there, I just want to give everybody a reminder that the deer season will be ending on the 10th of February. So make sure that if you're trying to get out there and get your last minute hunting on, by all means, let's get it done for deer hunting before 10th of February. All right, now looking at this question that we got. What can be done about folks not wearing masks in government offices, buildings on Redstone? Again, we have talked about it. We have encouraged everybody when you're going into a facility and you cannot remain within 6 feet of distancing with each other to put on your face covering. Now, there are some facilities like the DECA. There are some facilities like the commissary, the exchange, that you must wear it. We just encourage everybody currently where we stand to wear your face covering, and that's to protect yourself, to protect us, and so that we do not have to scale back services. You know, we've been able to bring back services to the installation because of your help and because of your due diligence to ensure we keep everybody safe. What we don't want to do is have to bring back or scale back or even close any facilities. What we're trying to do is push forward and bring more facilities back. And by helping us out, wearing your face covering when you're walking in the buildings, it's going to be a great plus for us. So please do the right thing, and please wear your face covering to protect all of us. Other than that, I don't know if you got another question or another question came in.
No, I don't think so. I think that's why you're a Sergeant Major, and you answered that question probably much more tactful than I. And I think we all have a responsibility, whether you're setting the example and wearing it for others to see. We do need to do that. And you know, if you encounter somebody like that and they're perhaps not just being as cooperative as you'd like, certainly speak to them. And then obviously you have other options. You can talk with your supervisors, and it's intended to do well. I know, you know, after 2 hours in that thing, you want to just take a break and step away from everybody. And that might be the time you see me in the hallway that I don't have my mask on because I've taken away just to take a minute and get my bearings. But we believe most people are carrying on in good intent and being safe, and that's the important thing. So I've run out of little pink slips at this point, Sergeant Major, so I think you've done a great job answering their questions
Right.
thus far. So we got anything else coming in on that side, folks?
All right. If we do not have anything coming in, again, you know, I want to thank our Department of Operations Director, Ron Thomas, for helping me facilitate our virtual town hall today. I want to thank all our viewers for chiming in and giving us some great questions. By all means, if you have some questions, pre-position those questions, send them out to us so that when we come on for our next virtual town hall, we have that information and able to answer your questions. Again, I want you to have a safe week and a safe weekend coming up. As you all know, it is Super Bowl weekend coming up, and there is a lot of people rooting for the Chiefs and the Bucks. You know, my Cowboys aren't playing, but that's okay. That's a different story.
Sergeant Major's still going to be rooting for the Cowboys. I don't care what you say.
I got you. Before I close out, you know, there's four types of people that'll be watching the Super Bowl, in my view, and those types of people are, you know, the ones that are watching it for the love of football and their teams playing. The other ones are for the halftime show that's going to be playing during Super Bowl. The other ones are probably looking to see the great commercials that'll be coming out during the Super Bowl game, and then those that just love watching the whole thing. So, you know, I'm sure you fall maybe in one of those categories. I want you to enjoy watching the Super Bowl. I'm glad we're able to bring it as a country, and just be safe out there as you celebrate Super Bowl weekend. By all means, let's don't forget our precautionary measures and our safety precautions so that we do not spike in this COVID
Super
pandemic.
Bowl parties. Yep.
Yeah, by all means, let's be safe out there. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.